Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, National Youth in Agriculture Program expected to transform agriculture in Dominica. Government to provide additional housing at Joe Burton Housing Development. And a provision to be made in the 2023-2024 national budget for the implementation of the reclassification of the public service. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. The National Youth in Agriculture Program is positioned to transform the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy with the active involvement of Dominica's youth. An official launch ceremony for the National Youth in Agriculture Program took place at the State House Conference Center on March 31, 2023. The National Association of Youth in Agriculture, NAYA, was created in 2003 as a means to increase youth contribution in agribusiness in the Ministry of Agriculture. Government has prioritized youth development with focus being placed on youth involvement and modernization in agriculture. The launch of the National Youth in Agriculture Program sets the tone for a rebirth of the agriculture sector.
It is a reset that will be led by our young people of this country in support of more sustained economic growth and national development. Since the passage of Hurricane Maria and the succeeding COVID-19 pandemic, we have been preoccupied with the issue of our national and regional food security, how we can grow more food, transform our local food systems, and build a stronger, more resilient local economy. The shocks that we have experienced in recent years have exposed the vulnerabilities of our food systems and highlighted the pressing need to unlock the potential of agricultural sectors.
Minister Pompon Skerrit believes youthful thinking is necessary if the Ministry of Agriculture intends to meet its goal of contributing $700 million to the national GDP by 2030.
We are convinced that to achieve this goal, we must empower a new cadre of young farmers who can bring a level of expertise to the cultivation, marketing, and the sale of select crops, as well as the willingness to employ cutting-edge methods and technology to boost production. We encourage young farmers to consider diversification into the non-traditional, high-value fruits and vegetables.
Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Roland Rui, says the effort and the passion of youth involved in agriculture is necessary to create a thriving and innovative market for agriculture.
The average age of a farmer in Dominica is about 65 years, unfortunately. So you are the ones who will be calling on to meet that target. You are the ones who will be calling on to introduce innovation to the sector. You are the ones who will be calling on to invest in smart and resilient agriculture. You are the ones that will be calling on to expand on the production of the major export crops. Also, you are the ones that will be calling on to invest in livestock and dairy, and in the dairy industry, so we can reduce our high meat and milk input bills.
Minister for Youth, Honorable Greta Roberts, has pledged her full support for the National Youth in Agriculture Program. She believes this is the stepping stone needed to further enhance the sector and take agriculture to the next level.
The prominent elder farmers in these communities and across Dominica have done their share and have been major contributors to our country's economy. But they need a new crop of young farmers with the passion, the fresh ideas, the technical skills, people like Mr. Blandford, of course, and boundless energy to continue their legacy. I look forward to the success of this program. The National Youth in Agriculture Program is the ideal launchpad for the renewal, the reset of our agriculture sector.
Assistance will be provided in the form of inputs, greenhouses, planting material, and technical support. Government also earmarked $1 million of support to young people with the drive and passion to farm in the 2022-2023 fiscal year. This support has been provided through the arrangement of grants for startup capital, labor and supplies to eligible young people. Through these investments, youth will be able to enhance their participation in Dominica's agriculture sector, boosting overall productivity and increasing individual and household incomes. What is now known as the Joe Burton development in Wesley is currently being expanded to provide additional housing for residents. 32 families who would have been displaced by the construction of the international airport now have newly built homes. The first stop on the Prime Minister's media tour of the International Airport project last week began at the new Joe Burton housing development, where preparatory work is being done for the construction of additional homes.
32 homes were constructed for families affected by the construction of the international airport with regards to the acquisition of lands. These people opted for the government to build for them. Out of these 32, there are about 20 or so families who we had no legal obligation to, because they own the land, but recognizing the social component of the government's mandate, we have built these homes for these individuals at no cost to them. So they've gotten both a house and land really at no charge to them.
The Prime Minister says lots received from government are much larger than the ones the landowners gave up.
And those persons who would have also received lots there, they would have had a bigger size lot than what we acquired from them. So we simply did a simple exchange, not paying close attention to the value of what they had originally and the value of what they're receiving now. The value of what they receive now is way higher than what they would have, what the government would have taken away from them. And it's in recognition of the special consideration of this. I mean, people living there for so many years on their properties, and ask them to move. There's a special consideration that should have been given and was given to them. So as it is now, most of the people have taken over the keys. There's one family who did not like the location of the house for some reason, and so we are now facilitating her reassignment and relocation.
Government is now working on providing additional housing at Joe Burton.
There are about 13 families, some of whom were squatting. They were working on the estates for people's private lands. There were a couple of them from the Canlago territory, for example, and therefore there was absolutely no legal obligation to them insofar as acquisition is concerned. But these people were living there in makeshift banana sheds and really poor condition. And so we're now building 13 apartment units for these people.
The Prime Minister says some of these will be single housing units.
The circumstance warranted a single bedroom unit, and it will be built with all of the amenities, electricity, water, at no cost to those families. So, and if you watch these properties, there are no telephone lines, there are no Dominica poles, there are no flow and digital poles. All of this infrastructure underground as part of our resilience building and keeping to our mandate to build resilient communities. So in the event a hurricane comes here, and it will to affect the transmission lines, in terms of restoration of electricity, this will be the first community in Wesley that will have electricity, because all of the lines are underground. They won't be affected. They are properly installed in underground ducts, and this is why you can see the aesthetics is improved, and of course people are starting to plant their flowers as they come along and settle nicely here.
It's worthy of note that some of the property owners affected by the International Airport project opted to build their own homes.
In addition to the homes that the government has built for the people affected by the airport, there are several individuals who opted for cash in exchange for their properties, and they have built some huge homes, beautiful, beautiful homes. I think they must have gotten those designs online. So really wonderful homes and certainly a way higher value now than what they had prior. And so we tried our best to make people as happy as possible, as comfortable as possible. Individuals who were squatting on government lands, individuals who were planting, who were doing some agriculture and farming on people's lands who were maybe overseas, whatever it is, in respect to crop compensation, we paid them for the crop compensation.
Government is working on providing the residents of the new Joe Burton development and their neighbors in Wesley with a reliable water supply.
Another important feature that even the people of Wesley are not aware of, and sometimes we the government, we don't speak sufficiently about these things and inform the nation about these things. We needed to provide water to this community as part of our mandate. And when I came there, I also recognized that the greater Wesley community had an issue with water at some point. And DOA Squad indicated to me that they would have at some point to improve on the water system. So we've expanded the water project. And so we're building, and DOA Squad is ongoing, is near completion. The tank is basically up. We have established a 500,000 gallon water tank for this community, this Joe Burton area, and the greater Wesley area.
The new storage tank, when completed, will be able to hold thousands of gallons more than what obtained previously.
So in terms of storage capacity, it's a significant increase from what I believe to have been the 20,000 gallon capacity which currently exists. So from 20,000 gallon storage facility to 500,000 gallon storage facility, including the improvement of the distribution pipes, etc., etc. And all of this are benefits coming out of the International Airport project. There are lots that we have, residential lots, and I believe in the next couple of months or so, we will start assigning them to people from Wesley, Marigot, Woodford area who work in the public and private sectors, who are self-employed, who have indicated to us if they get a lot, they're able to get the loan from the credit unions to build their own private homes there. So people are excited to get those lots, and I'm hoping that very soon the government can assign those lots to the people.
Prime Minister the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has announced that provision will be made in the 2023-2024 national budget for the implementation of the reclassification of the public service as the process comes to an end. He made that announcement while addressing his bi-weekly press conference held on Monday, March 27. As part of the vision for transformation and modernization of the public sector, the government of Dominica undertook an organizational review and reclassification exercise within the public service. The reclassification of the public service was a multi-pronged and multi-phased initiative to provide a comprehensive analysis of the organizational structure of the ministries and departments and an evaluation of the salaries and compensation structure. The exercise aimed to strengthen and empower the public service to carry out its leadership role in Dominica's climate resilient efforts and achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals as envisioned in Dominica's National Resilience Development Strategy and the Climate Resilience and Recovery Plan. A job evaluation committee facilitated by a team of consultants from CARICAD reviewed and evaluated over 250 benchmarked positions within the public service in July of 2022. This review formed the basis of proposals for compensation review and reclassification of positions. Prime Minister Skerrit explained that new regulations will also be announced as part of the reclassification process.
I think we have come to an end of the process in large measure, and it is the intention of the government to include in the estimates in the budget coming up provisions for its implementation. And I'm hoping that maybe the next time we could have a proper briefing on it so we can give the public a more comprehensive update on where we are, including new legislation and new regulations to deal with the more efficient management of the public service.
The reclassification process, when complete, is expected to result in an efficient and more productive public sector. Prime Minister Skerrit stated that numerous consultations have been held to ensure that the relevant stakeholders were able to contribute to the process.
But the reclassification that doesn't only involve the remuneration aspect of it. It also deals with terms of references and engagement, job descriptions, you know, how to make public service more efficient and more responsive to the public that it serves, etc., etc., and how to be more productive. And so there are a number of very important aspects to it, and it has gone through a very comprehensive stakeholder consultation, and this is one reason why there's been a delay in its implementation, because you have to consult, and when you consult now, then you come back to consult, then another issues come up, you know, so, and you try to give people an opportunity to share their views in an exhaustive manner as possible. So this will be done.
In his 2022 Independence Address, Prime Minister Skerrit stated that the job analysis and job evaluation exercise were completed in collaboration with all unions representing the public service, adding that 442 established positions will be evaluated have been recommended for an adjustment in classification level. You are watching National Focus. More when we return.
I love the freedom when I'm out there. Simply put, the worries from shore, none of that out there. And it's my daily bread. I learned it from my dad. My dad is one of the senior guys here who catch the biggest fish around here. And he's top with the red snappers. It's a family thing. I'm the only one fishing right now in the family. Just keeping it going. I enjoy bringing them up, man. Sometimes you have a yellowfin tuna, 400 pounds. Man, let me tell you, that's just a joy out there. I enjoy going out there and just holding the big fish. I don't lift weights, I lift fish. The morning of my fishing trip, I would get up, make a little spice tea. Then I come down here. I have my GPS, which most fishermen are supposed to have that. Normally I prepare the day before, because whenever you're going out there, you must have ice. Ice is a must for preservation of the fish. So I always make sure I have everything the day before. My fish represents me, and I bring good quality fish ashore simply because the restaurants themselves, they have to show a quality product. Tourism and agriculture go hand in hand, that's what I think. We're all connected. It's like a big machine, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. My name is Brandon Carlisle, and tourism is my business.
Welcome back. The Climate Resilience Execution Agency for Dominica, CREED, has been actively working to improve the country's ability to withstand the impacts caused by natural disasters from a social to economic standpoint. As part of the efforts, a handing over ceremony was held on Friday, March 31, where micro, small and medium-sized enterprises business kits were presented to the Ministry of Labour, Public Service Reform, Social Partnership and Small Business Development. Chief Executive Officer for CREED, that is Francine Barron, says the toolkit can be used as a guide to improving the MSME sector.
We wanted to ensure that there would be a comprehensive database of micro, small and medium enterprises operating in Dominica. The database that has been created is designed to strengthen MSMEs with the overarching objective of building a business information system that encapsulates the nature, productivity, contribution to economic growth, employment, and innovation of small businesses. The MSME database serves as an analytical tool that can be used by the government to inform policies, strategic plans, access to finance, and provide an improved structure to the MSME sector.
Minister for Labour, Public Service Reform, Social Partnership, Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, Honourable Miriam Blanchard, expressed her thanks to CREED for its ongoing efforts to achieving climate resilience.
By implementing these measures, MMCEs can not only safeguard their businesses from climate-related risks, but also capitalize on new opportunities, promote sustainable growth, and contribute to national efforts to combat climate change. On behalf of my ministry and the government of Dominica by extension, I say a big thank you to CREED for its dedication to creating a climate-resilient Dominica and for their unwavering support of our MMCE sector. Through their efforts, we now have a comprehensive database that we can use as an analytical tool to inform policies and strategic plans while providing improved structure for the sector.
Minister for Public Works, Public Utilities and the Digital Economy, Honourable Fidel Grant, says his ministry will lend its support to small businesses.
The MSME sector is the backbone of the rural communities. And MSME is not only critical for the creation of jobs, but the reduction of poverty. E-commerce enables MSMEs to compete and to grow. This leads to increased profits and employment. The ministry will be partnering with the small business unit to ensure that small businesses remain connected. Through the digital transformation project, we will seek to connect suppliers, producers, other stakeholders while accessing new markets across the region and the world by extension.
St. Mary's Academy has emerged the winner of this year's National Literacy Competition. Octavia Prosper has more in this report.
The Rotary Club of Dominica hosted the competition on Friday, March 31 at the PSU building. Assistant Chief Education Officer, Mr. Robert Gist, gave an overview of the competition.
This literacy competition, organized by the Rotary Club of Dominica, pits lower secondary students from one school against students, their peers from another. The competition seeks to engage students in various literacy activities. This year we had the ITSS, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, the Dominica Grammar School, the Convent High School, the Castleborough Secondary School, and the defending champions, the St. Mary's Academy, trying to win this year's literacy quiz. In the education setting, when we speak of literacy, we not only speak of learning to read and write. In fact, literacy has become much more complex than we think.
Mr. Gist says he believes competition like these allows students to push beyond their boundaries.
While a lot of people may think that competition in education may not necessarily be healthy, we see that this competition and the other competitions in education actually get students to study things that they would not normally study. How many of the participants here, had it not been for this competition, would study 8 different areas in 2 weeks? Exactly. For what?
Member of the Rotary Club of Dominica, Ms. Luana Lura, presented the results.
In the case of English, subject English, we have top performers from the Dominica Grammar School. The top performers in mathematics, the Convent High School. The top performers in science, the Convent High School. The top performers in social sciences, St. Mary's Academy. We have a tie with the performance of current affairs, and that is Isaiah Thomas Secondary, as well as the St. Mary's Academy. And the top performers in information technology, St. Mary's Academy. All right, it's about that time. In third place with 260 points, we have the Castleborough Secondary School. Congratulations. In second place, missing the win by just 5 points, with 275 points, we have the Convent High School. And the winners of the 8th Annual Secondary School Literacy Quiz Competition, hosted by the Rotary Club of Dominica, with 280 points, we congratulate St. Mary's Academy.
A 12-man team has been named to represent Dominica at the 2023 Carifta Games set to be held in the Bahamas. Karel Etienne will participate in the under-17 girls 100 and 200 meter races, Godisha Joseph in the under-17 girls shot put event, Addison James will compete in the javelin under-17 boys, Sean Vidal in the under-17 boys in the 1500 and 3000 meter races, Philip Telemac in the under-20 boys octathlon, Shakan Stedman and Joshua St. Jean in the under-20 boys 100 meter race. The athletes will be accompanied by President Brendan Williams, General Secretary Philip White, chaperone and media personnel Jamasha Mello, Godwin Dorset, head coach, and Smith Hippolyte as a coach and medic. Sports coordinator Trevor Shillingford stated that the sports division has played an important role in the development of these athletes.
On behalf of the sports division, that we would like to wish our student athletes who are preparing to represent Dominica over the Easter weekend at the 50th Character Games well. The sports division have been very much involved in our representation at the Character Games in the past, and we continue our involvement. We continue to provide the platform for our future character representatives, since many of the people who represent Dominica at the Character Games actually first seen at the Independence Track and Field Meet.
President of the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association, Mr. Brendan Williams, encouraged the young athletes to be ambassadors for Dominica on and off the track.
It is not just the performances on the field, because these athletes over the past 8 months have demonstrated that they are worth being at the Character Games. Because this is one of the years where we had the toughest qualification standards for Character Games, but also it is our largest contingent of qualified athletes. So it shows that these 7 athletes are going to compete, not just represent or be a number at the games, but compete with the likes of Jamaica, compete with the likes of Trinidad, and compete with the likes of Bahamas. But I must stress on not their performance on the field, because the Athletics Association has undergone training with these athletes, most recently on Saturday, for their deportment, conduct, and being an overall ambassador for the country.
Meanwhile, Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Oscar George, told the athletes that this opportunity is a testimony of their determination and hard work.
I want to say to you athletes, congratulations on behalf of myself, on behalf of the Ministry of Sports, and by extension, the government of Dominica. And just to say that, representing your country in any sport is a great honor and a privilege. And I think every young athlete should want or to aspire to play for Dominica. And we as a government will continue to provide this support for you, but you have to grab the opportunities with both hands. I want to tell you today, our athletes, that your qualification to represent us at the Character Game is just a testimony of your hard work and your dedication in the sport of athletics. You have excelled through difficult times, and you are rewarded with being a sports ambassador for us in the Bahamas.
The 50th edition of the Character Games will be held in the Bahamas from April 7 to 10. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.